Okay, so I had to wait for my video to upload and then I had to go in and watch it again so I could remember what the hell I was talking about. And so it was weird. Is I was weird. It was all of a sudden like I felt this total time glitch. Like I had no idea what had just happened past 30 minutes or something. So one of the things when I was listening back, I of course interrupted myself, like that's new. But what I was gonna say, so when I was going out and riding my bike and I was putting all this work and energy, and then I have no idea what I was eating. I'm sure I keep changing that because I started so much just really listening to my body and started making this whole thing. You tell me what to do, I'll tell it kind of the kind of shape I want to be in, like it's weird because, like for instance, I've seen where women go into like a plastic surgeon, and then they'll go on. I've even been to one because, and I can't wait to get these out, but they'll draw on you. And so it's kind of like doing that to yourself, like showing yourself, showing your body, okay, see this right here, let's do something, show me what to do so I can, make this bigger, make this smaller, work here, where, stuff like that. I don't know, everything works different for different people, but I do that, and then it tells me like what to eat, when to eat, what exercises to do. And for me, I have found just getting up throughout the day and just doing little exercises, and my stuff is so much more, is so much less strenuous than riding the bike. When I was going out and putting so much energy into riding the bike and working so much harder, and I was in worse shape. It's weird. And then go into this other thing where I just really trusted this union with my body and started working and approaching it from that direction. And I'm in so much better shape and it's so much less strenuous. Like, and my muscles feel stronger. Like, and I have just been listening to my body. And even when it tells me to do things that I think I feel kind of foolish, but it feels like my body knows, like it is already knows this stuff. Like it's in our DNA or something. And so then, I was doing all of these movements and stuff. And I had no idea until I saw it on the thing. It's like called something, Wing Gong or something like that, those kind of movements. And it is something about, these movements with the energy. It's like your chi. It's like making your energy bigger and connecting to yourself and deep breathing. Like I've done yoga class and stuff like that. And I don't think you get anything as close to yoga in a yoga class as you do if you do it by yourself. And you tune into your own body and you do the stretches your body tells you. You take in the breaths. You just follow your body. Like you just really tune into it. And it just does this stuff naturally, but it is real stuff, which I had no idea. Like when I kept doing this, I just kept noticing like it is pushing, it's it is you are your own resistance. So ain't it, I don't know, there's something that it does it automatically. If you just do this and you start putting your arms out and keep your hands together, you'll feel all of these stretches. And then you do that throughout your body in movements and you move your hands around and stuff. And I had no idea that that was a whole thing, that people are doing some sort of weightless exercises. But I think it also follows with yoga and like Tai Chi or something, in this Gang Guang or whatever. All of these different, I think, like Eastern movement meditation, like all of those things that they kind of do. And that's what I always thought was weird, is like in school, in gym class, why aren't they teaching kids like karate and yoga and kung fu, and where kids feel like they could protect themselves, nobody could hurt them, that they are getting that tuning into their bodies with the breathing and movement, and to have to work their way up through different belts, learning skills. And it is so much better exercise. I can't even tell you. It was so much more work. And then what I'm doing now is so much less work, and I'm in such better shape. So, it's just this weird. And so that's what I was trying to talk about before I, start talking about whatever with all of the, from the wagon to the homeless and everything. But one of the things, though, I saw as well was this footage of the stuff we're not seeing, and it's so much worse. The people who gather this stuff is crazy. And I don't know, maybe they just have access to a bunch of cable channels in other countries or something and get other places news, or they just search it on the internet, or maybe they have friends, I don't know. But so Pakistan is just like underwater, and they had such severe mud floods too. And weird, this morning I went outside, and it's weird because it seems moist, but it just isn't. There's no rain or anything. But it has like a real moisture in the air, and it's something they're doing. 100% they're fucking doing this shit. But it smells so strong of mud, like a mud flood just happened down the street or something, and it is so strong of a smell. I have never been outside. It doesn't matter how many rainstorms. I've never been outside and had it smell like this. And I've had so many strange smells outside, and I know all of that stuff is artificial. Ooh, and I'll tell you something interesting too. I saw this girl, and she was talking about that she was sitting outside on her porch, and she showed what she was looking at. And she sits out, and like in front of her, there's just a little scene with, some trees, just a pretty scene. And the sun kind of sets there. And so she was sitting out there, just relaxing, looking at the scenery. And all of a sudden it turned into, she said it was like, kind of like what I kept describing, but she said hers, it looked like all of a sudden everything was like computer animated or something. I don't remember the exact words she said, but everything all of a sudden she could see, it was like a hologram or something. She could see that it was a hologram for a second, and she said it was so weird, and it really freaked her out. And then she said that she was telling her boyfriend, because now she can keep seeing it. I'm pretty sure she said now that she can see it, she can keep, she keeps seeing it. It's just like really weird. But then her boyfriend, he had, so out there in the same area, he said that he had been out there working in the yard or something, and all of a sudden he could hear all of this noise up in the trees. So he started trying to look. He said it sounded like an orangutan or something up, going from tree to tree. It was really loud. And so he kept trying to look, but he couldn't see anything. And the only thing he could ever see, he said it was like a shape, a figure that was, he said it reminded him of the movie Predator, because he couldn't see through the thing, and it was all of this move. He said it looked like energy and color kind of, but that you couldn't see through it, but you could see like if you were looking down on something, it was just a bunch of smoke. And so it was like that, and so he and then he saw it moving from tree to tree. And some of the stories, like Mr. Ballin, who tells spooky stories and stuff, he's talked about people seeing them before. I've seen other stories where people have talked about, there was a whole thing about a school who saw a craft one day, and there was some hunters out that day, and a woman was sitting up. I think there's some kind of like forts or something up off of the ground, and hunters, I guess, sit in them and wait for an animal to come by or something. I can't remember what they're called, but she was sitting up in one of them, and she saw one of those going through the trees. and they had just seen that ship. So I know that that is an energy, you know, and no telling if you were in its reality what it looks like. But not everything can come into this frequency reality and hold its shape or form as the same as what it is in its own frequency. And that's why it's always so challenging. And that's why when people think like spirits and stuff, they can't really do anything because they've got limitations, because this isn't their reality. Spirits and ghosts are leaving their reality to come back energetically and trying to help their family and friends and stuff. And some get stuck because, I mean, just look, we are surrounded by people who are alive who are stuck. Just you get stuck in these mind traps, an energetic mind trap of trying to understand something. Man, my hair is bugging me. Understand something, or trying to work something out, essentially. And so, you know, some souls or consciousness can get just trapped like that, and then they keep trying to come back, or they can't let go of the situation. So, you know, it's I think it's more like energetic than, you know, the conscious being there and being stuck. It's like an energy fractal or something of some situation that gets stuck or something like that, maybe. You know, I think that we have a lot of stuff that we'll be learning, but I think there's a lot of stuff that, you know, that is too complex for us to ever understand. That was one thing that Dolores Cannon said, that when she would talk to these other beings and stuff, they would say that some of the stuff they don't even understand about how everything works, how, you know, we're all souls and alive having these experiences, but, you know, you work your way up and we're all just a part of this same energy source. It is like what I talk about with like that hand. It is that coming out, the extension of this Christ consciousness, this source of energy that we all come from, the cells of this energy source. And so, anyways, some of them have said, you know, that it's hard to understand how everything works. And you know what's trippy too is the other day I was doing something, and sometimes I'll get so bombarded with things that they'll be showing me that it is so hard for me to understand. And, you know, some of the things, it's very trippy, but some of the things are really trippy, like so trippy. Like you kind of want to have somebody talk. It makes you kind of feel like you're losing your grip on reality. Like I don't even exist. Like it's very trippy. And so, you know, sometimes you're just like, man, you know, I need to talk to somebody. I need to hold on to something. And I can see when there's people who, you know, are considered mentally ill and stuff like that, and the realms or the reality of where their mind goes into could be overwhelming to the point you feel crazy, because it does feel overwhelming, like you are losing your grip on reality, but reality doesn't exist. But letting go of it is very unstabling. So it is trippy to let go of something that's not even real. It's so weird. Like it really is weird. So anyways, you know, it is a process. But the other day I got totally in my head where I was like, okay, shut up. And then you start going like, you know, okay, is this like Agent Smith in here interfering? Are they putting these thoughts in my head to try and drive me crazy? Are they trying to interfere with my mission? Like all this stuff is so trippy. But also, so in this footage where it was showing this stuff in Pakistan, it is also China is underwater. There's, oh, I guess there's a weird thing in Japan is about to open the floodgates on a bunch of nuclear waste that they have. they're just gonna flush it into the ocean. We're just gonna go ahead and put it in there. So of course, you know, that's got people's attention. And everything is gonna keep being. This is absurd, you know. Like, and I don't know how far it's gonna go, but I think that, you know, everything can be fixed. I swear, in something I had seen Trump talking recently, he said he said something about that. You know, don't worry about what they're destroying. We're gonna fix it all. We've got ways to do it. And I had heard about that with the technology and stuff that they have that they're, you know, using against us, that we will use it to rebuild and stuff. You know, just taking away this frequency. Like, when I listen back, I don't think I talked about this, but it's super concerning because, you know, when the HOA girl, and she told me that they're putting in these lines just without permission, just the government is just putting these in, and they've always got a cover company, they've always got an LLC, a corporation. This whole fucking place is built on a matchstick house of corporations and LLCs. It's all such bullshit. So the now they're going to come out here and just put these out. And then I was like, well, you know, did they dig everything up and that's why it smells like mud? But I don't see anything dug right now. But who knows what the hell they're doing? Coming in just laser. Maybe they're coming in with spaceships and they're just laying it down under the ground without it. I don't even know at this point. This place is so much built on lies and so much not ever what any of us thought it was. It's just like, it's crazy. So anyways, but when I was listening to all these different people in the comments are all sitting there saying that they come in and they've done this. In New Jersey, I believe, they just went in and put all of these new gas lines. When the people are like, what are you doing here? What, you know, and they tore up all the streets and they're putting in, and one lady went out and started asking him. And she said the guy was just like stuttering and well, we were told we had to come and do this and stuff. You know, and they have just done it so many times before. Just fucking a gas leak, just blow up a whole goddamn neighborhood. And, you know, I mean, they blow up a goddamn building and try. Even there's footage now caught with Bush saying that they made it on purpose to have it go off so that people couldn't go down and couldn't escape. They did that on purpose. You know, and so they I don't know. You know, it was a offering to the gods or something, an energetic offering for so many people to be traumatized at once. But, you know, that's the shit they do. And they sweep in and any of the little ones that they find in the streets, grab them, load the van. Like, these people are so disturbingly sick. And I just saw footage down at the, you know, the place, I'm sure you can't say that word, but Catholic, the charitable people, they have a whole place set up, and the guy was showing like how they have all these no trespassing signs, and you know, they're bringing everybody across and then sending them out on buses and stuff. You know, I'm sure all these little kids are being escorted right exactly where they need to go, because the Catholic charitable people work hand in hand with the coyote little crossers that bring them across. So, who steal them or buy them from poverty-stricken families, or just kill off their family and take the kids. You know, they do whatever. It's just a assortment of horrible crimes that they commit so that they can keep their surplus going all the time, and everybody's just expendable. But this world has just had so much toxic energy. Just imagine what this world is going to be like when it's cleansed of this toxicity. Because energetically, there has just been, and I mean, it's been what has fed the darkness inside of people, especially people who are just, you would say weak-minded, but really it's more like weak-spirited, because it's probably, their mind's probably going, you know, out of control. But their spirit, so their mind's out of control and they can't handle their spirit. So their spirit is their guidance to tell them, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Run. So, but most of people, you know, they've been taught, don't listen to the voices inside your head. That would make you crazy. So you have to just you know, I don't know, like just train people to survive. But, you know, besides they've got it in India and Turkey, all of these, the water is drying up. The cool thing is these waterways in these really old places over there, like around like I don't know, over by Pakistan, and I don't remember exactly where they were saying it, but over like by India, Pakistan, all of the places that, you know, got a lot of ancient stuff, which I think there's a lot of ancient stuff here that's going to be revealed. I think it's everywhere, but that as the water's drying up, as they're drying up all of these waterways and lakes and stuff, there is being underground, underground hidden cities are showing up. So I think there's gonna be way more of that kind of stuff. That guy who I was talking about, who was in the and up in the mountains on the Appalachian, but in Massachusetts, MAS, you know what I'm saying. And when he is over there, he was also showing that he found like this whole overgrown part. But if you start pulling it back, you can see that there's structures made out of like concrete, like rocks and concrete or something. So I don't know what age of that stuff, but there's just so much history hidden all around us that they just come in, just like with these mud floods. And you know, the floods, they just change things around and reset the whole stage. And you know, they just put some of it underwater so it just goes away and rots away, and we build other places, and then it all changes. It's just always changing. So it's exciting because there's so much being revealed underneath. But you know, we still have to go through whatever's going to go down that's going to change our water here in America. And there's more people with their prophetic dreams, you know, saying that you leave the East Coast and there's leave the West Coast. And you know, so many of us are on the coast, and then to come to find that the government has given up rights to 100 miles from the water. Like, that's a long ways. It is like, when I was saying, you know, supposedly the water is going to come up like 300 miles, that's almost to Spokane. When I was saying it was to the gorge the other day, I think it's more like almost to Moses Lake. I think it's 379 miles for me to get to Spokane from my house. So 100 miles is a significant amount. I'm 40 miles from if I were to drive, it would take me like 35 minutes or 35 miles about to get to the ocean. Maybe 30 minutes. It depends on which direction I go. But I'm like right at the coast. And so I'm definitely in the parameters of like, you know, 100 miles where they can do whatever they want, apparently. And they can come in and put more lines under the ground. And it is really going to mess us up. You know, and Vortex is so right, a grounding thing, you won't be able to ground. That would be a disruption to the frequency. And everything is about disrupting our frequency. And that has such a significant impact on us because it's why people are sick. It is, along with the chemicals and the microwave frequency and the radiation, it is what creates the whole thing. And I'll tell you another thing. There was this girl I saw doing a video, and she was talking about how her hair fell out. It was all falling out. And so she was freaking out. And she had heard that you can go do a hair follicle test. She was talking to her hairstylist lady. So she did one. And hers showed it was radiation poisoning. And that's what that's the whole thing. When people keep thinking their hair's falling out for some other reason, no. It is the fucking frequency. It is the attacks on us that is doing it. It is attacking our physical being. And if you think of us being a hologram, it would be super easy with the frequency to disrupt that ability to be your best self. So that's why, like, once they're gone and we do get that opportunity and, you know, get rid of all of these frequencies, but Then putting them on the ground like that to where it's from our feet up until we're in the air, and they've got it in the air along with the chemicals, along with these little bot worms or whatever the hell they're putting in us, and all of that stuff. Then I think there's going to be a lot of people who will die. Like, there will be a lot more sudden death. To be putting that much frequency up through people's feet and all the way through them like that, it is kind of like a completion of a current. Like when you get electrocuted. Like, it doesn't... Yeah, to me it seems super bad. And they do it always on a slow, low, so that, you know, we supposedly don't notice and we just believe whatever we're told. And, you know, it's just the new flu. The flu is sad. That's what's wrong. It's like, oh my God. We got something for you though. Just come on in. We'll help you out. We're always worrying about you. We're always thinking about you. You know, we think years in advance. We get patents on things that we haven't even had the opportunity to create yet, because we're always thinking about you. It's like these people, they are it's just as shameful how much bullshit we have bought all along. And speaking of shit and consuming shit, this girl did this video the other day, and see, I'm going out to restaurants is, no, there is something wrong with everything right now. And so she went to Subway and got a sandwich. She said the guys were a little weird or whatever, but, you know, she wasn't really thinking anything. She said it was a little uncomfortable, awkward, or whatever. She gets her sandwich and she decides to go out in her car and eat it. And she opens it, and the smell, she said, was so bad in the parking lot. She took a bite of the sandwich and was like, oh, I can't eat here. I'm going to go home. So she goes home and she opens up the sandwich, and it's the same smell. So she takes the paper off of it, and she sees that there is actual shit, actual poop on the papers. She got to the police. The police are testing it to see if it's animal or human or whatever, but it was actual shit on her sandwich, on this stuff. And she was so grossed out, she's having a hard time even eating at this point, she said, because she can't get it off of her head, out of her mind. The smell and the ew. Then you know what it tastes like. Like, you've tasted it. And it is like, oh my gosh. Ugh. It made me feel kind of nauseous just hearing her story. So, but I've heard a lot of weird stories. Like, you know, people are getting poison served to them in their glasses, and then they're like, well, we didn't realize the cleaner was in the cup next to the food. I was like, what? Like, I heard one of those a long time ago. Well, it's come back around. It's happening still. It's happening again. And it's going to keep going, you know. I think that there is a thing to, we need to be cooking for ourselves and taking care of ourselves. And it's just another opportunity for somebody to do something. Like, it's not healthy for us. There's just a lot of toxic things about it. And I think that is what people are learning from the whole situation. But, you know, a lot of people have a lot to learn, because there are people who completely, that's their whole way of surviving, is off of Burger King and DoorDash and stuff, that they don't know how to cook for themselves at all. They just live off of fast food. And, you know, and fast food's cheap. And so that's why they get it. And it's, you know, super, super toxic. It's making them sick. And then along with all of this other stuff, but see, that's for all of these horror stories of the food situation, you know, it should be pushing them more into wanting to feed themselves and take better care of themselves, just to know, like, how many extra calories you eat from somebody else cooking your food. Like, going to a restaurant, like, you go and cook your own food and you start putting in butter, you know, and then you put in a spoonful or 2 spoonfuls or whatever, you know, and you're like, oh, that's plenty, you know, when you're making it yourself. And then you're not thinking about that when you go to the restaurant, the reason it tastes so good is because they put a fucking 2 cups in and a whole bunch of sugar and all sorts of stuff just to make it taste good. And it's come out now. What I had been saying for this whole goddamn time is that they put something in the food on purpose to make it like addictive. So there's something in your body needs to go back and keep getting from this food. And they do that. I knew that they were doing that. And so there's a lot of stuff for people to break free from and start really taking care of themselves, learning to cook for themselves. And not to say there should never be any restaurants, but it should never be what it had become, where just people became dependent and lazy and not able to take care of themselves and depending on other people to take care of them. And then it all boils down to corporate food and corporate farms. And I know for sure that the things that are in play right now, all of the stuff that is out there for us to consume, has an extra dose. Like, I wasn't kidding about, like, I'm sure that this government food, before it goes out, they give it a nice good spray. Somebody just told me, I was showing how I have all these boxes. I started being like, I can't get rid of the boxes. I just know I'm going to be going somewhere and I got to save these boxes. So I started saving boxes, and I was showing all of these boxes, and I was talking about manifesting, because people just, they don't get the real idea about manifestation as far as what I understand about it and how it's played out in my own life. And so I was saying, like, I'm manifesting right now. I know, I mean, I'm doing something that makes no sense, but I know that it's going to happen. And anyways, then somebody said back, did you know that Amazon sprays rat poison on all their boxes? And it's like, oh my God, stuff like that. Like, I've got all these boxes that I haven't been throwing away that when stuff comes. So I've got all these Amazon boxes, and now, they've got all rat poison on them. Like, oh my God, it just never ends. When you go around and you are just feeling like shit, like today with all my joints hurting and stuff, and it's like, it can be so many different things. How do you even narrow it down? Like, we're under attack in every way possible. I am weirded out about the smell outside and the weather and the systems that they're trying to do. And it is concerning, that they would do this, was it's getting so close to winter. And they just want to put us all out on the streets. It's way easier to kill us if we're all out on the streets and herd us into the camps, especially the scared ones, because then they will do what they're told. Anything, if you're scared and you think someone's going to save you. And the thing that they always hold over everybody's goddamn head is that you could die. You can die. You can die. You could die. And it's like, no, you cannot die. You cannot die. You're not even alive. This isn't even real. You can't die. You just leave the screen. Your energy keeps on going. You just go on to another screen and go out and enjoy that life and whoever you're with in that life. Like, there is no death. In the way that they hold it over people's heads, and everybody just surrenders because they want someone to save them. And it's like, you don't need a savior. Everything here is happening so you can learn about you and you can experience yourself and who you are and learn from the experience. That's the whole point of existence, is to learn and to grow from understanding who and what you are. And that goes all the way to the top, from the source of where it all comes from. It is all micro, macro. It's all things. So anyways, I'm very concerned about them putting the thing in. I went and I started taking it real serious. Like, I've started unplugging everything. I had all of these little frequency things. They're supposed to keep the mice and spiders out. They do not keep. I mean, maybe they keep the mice out, but they sure the hell don't keep spiders or ants or any of the bugs out. So anyways, I took them all out of the things, because that is just a constant current that is seeping out radiation that is affecting my health all day long. And so in every bit of lights, like, I can hear the lights. I can hear them. And this air conditioner thing, now knowing that there was a whole purpose, all of their smart stuff. Like I heard a lady talk about this a long time ago. There was a woman, a whistleblower woman, like I think she was San Clemente or something. She was Southern California somewhere. In her neighborhood, it became a beta test place for these towers, and I think they were doing antennas on everybody's house, and everybody started getting cancer and getting sick. And she started doing research and looking up, and she found all of the stuff about it, and all of the push for those smart things is all to get their control into our house. You know, people rely on Alexas. Well, that can all be overridden, and they're doing it. And so I don't know. I've got a bunch of wood, so I will probably be a lot more burning my wood this year than turning that thing on, just because I know that whatever the wiring is that they use, that it's putting out a frequency to make me sick, and it fucking will start doing stuff and it's not even on. And it will do stuff and make noises and stuff. But, you know, I can hear the electricity, and you're going to put more, and I've got the wires hanging here. It's like, oh my gosh, God. I bet you if you really went and moved as far as you could from the towers, from all the electricity that they've ran all over this fucking place, that you were way out, off grid, I bet you just feel so much better. I think that I know after living out rural and going into town, I could see so much the difference of the energy that is in the town. It's so overwhelming, and it's so chaotic. You pick up on so many people's energy. Every single person who's feeling rushed or stressed out is putting out so much energy, and it affects us. And then they have just, you know, wires and businesses, like it's crazy. And then you come out and you just feel so much calmer. But, you know, just being able to get even further away from the power lines and stuff, you know, I would really just as soon, I know we're going to go to Tesla energy, and that is picking up on the energetic source around us. But, and then theirs is like a manufactured electricity, and it's, you know, it's toxic to us. It can kill us. And just like everything else, everything that they do is just like, you turn the wrong way, oh, you could die. Just go that way. Don't go that way. It's like, oh my God, this place is danger zone, danger zone. But there's a lot of traumas. You can come here and learn, you know, just like that boy. I mean, it's just kind of ironic that he is being traumatized in a past life where him and his mom, you know, I don't know if it was his mom in that life. He just kept saying me and you. But it could have been a sibling. He could have been the parent. It could have been anything, you know. She wasn't asking the right questions. But it's just kind of ironic that he remembers being in that flood and dying when we have so many places flooding right now. And I'm sure there's some sort of significance in his own learning. But, you know, I don't know what it is. But there's just so much going on. I just don't see how it can keep going. I mean, it is going to be huge amounts of people will be gone. Like, it's just, it can't get much worse in a lot of places. Something has to give. And so you know, today's Wednesday. So, God, I can't even believe we're partway through this week already. Like, I'm sure there's stuff going on that we just don't know about. Because no matter what, I mean, the queen is dead, and I just saw some weird footage of. There's a lot of weird shit coming out about the whole thing, you know, because this is going to be the takedown of the monarchy, and then they, you know, the control they've had over all of us, and that's where our taxes were going to. Like, all of this money laundering scheme that they've got going is just all bullshit. It's just all a bunch of nonsense. All of the money is just going over there, and funneling, I don't know, to Epstein or something. Who knows? And now there's pictures coming out of Ghislaine and Jeffrey sitting on the front porch, There's like a picture of the queen sitting on this cabin front porch, and then a picture of them in the same place. You know, like when you go on vacation and you take pictures. It's kind of funny, huh? These people all get together to mass murder and feast off of humans, and then they, hey, let's take some pictures. Let's get some memories built here. It's like, it's so weird. I saw this footage of this woman in England, and she is a whistleblower. She's speaking out, and she's like, I don't care who thinks I'm crazy. I've got to say this stuff. And she started talking about them all being reptilians, and she started talking about, because she would have to go to their rituals, and she was a part of them, and she said that she would talk about the whole ceremony of what goes on in the queen, and they all will come in their other form. They'll come in their reptilian form, and they'll have a whole thing, but she comes in her queen form, and then she transforms in front of everybody. And she says she becomes super, super tall and super skinny, and she's just so evil. And she said that other people, she saw them transition back to who they were. But when she would come into the thing, well, she would begin to recognize them after a while. But she's out on this sidewalk telling this, and people who are listening, know some of the stories. And, all of the stuff, all the stuff David Icke was saying was all true. And so, all of this stuff is going to keep coming out. And that one girl who I was saying, who was talking about Russell Brand as a girl, and David Icke's I don't remember if she said David. I don't think she said David Icke's a girl. I think she said he's a psyop plant or something. And Joe, I don't know. She goes on all of the people, and I just keep on thinking, I don't know. It's kind of seeming a little paranoid or something. It's kind of gets into this real judgy, generalizing and stereotyping of everybody who has a voice, that they must be, opposition, paid opposition. They're coming in to trick you. Like, I don't know. I might be getting a little paranoid there. But anyways, it seemed like there was some other thing I wanted to say that I saw. But, I think that things are picking up, and we can only hope. So, I don't know. I'm going to go sit here and just glitch out, I think, today, because I still just feel so weird. I feel so weird, and this energy out here is weird. And, I swear to God, it would not surprise me at all if we are just sprayed with some sort of chemicals. I really think, I keep seeing more and more evidence, and that they do stuff like that. And out here where I'm at, they just have it set up so perfect that they can close this off and contain us. And in the movies, how they've shown that they would do that, and then they'll tell on the news, oh, we had to quarantine, this blah, blah, blah happened, they can go on the news and say, oh, 25 cases of the monkeypox, we got to quarantine the whole area and close this down, and we're all sitting here, trying to speak out. Our internet just happens to not work. We lose our power, all of that stuff. So, I don't know. I know everybody's going through it. There's tons and tons of people in all sorts of disasters, and they're just closing it all down so nobody has a voice. And, that's what I'm saying. It's got to give. It can't keep going. It's already overflowing. So the tension on the energy is so pulled tight. It's going to, go back the other direction. And I look forward to it, but it's going to be intense, I think. So I hope every day it's like, I hope it's today. I hope it's today. So anyways, we'll see. But I'll talk to you later. Bye.